I'm cooking. Oh my God. Come here.
It's recording now?
Yeah. Oh Jesus. Okay, so welcome to the Cooking with Hans show. Today, if you'll glance down here briefly, you'll notice that we're cooking something very near and dear to a lot of people in the world. Something we like to call macaroni and cheese. And I don't know, I mean, it's an easy dish to make. Basically, I've brought a standard pot of water to a boil, and it's dehydrated a lot of that water actually. So what we like to do now is we strain out quite a bit of the water. If you follow me here. This is also our handyman here, Charles.
Hi, how you doing, Dean?
And what we're doing now is we're gonna put some of that water, we're gonna let it strain itself out of there, let gravity do the work for us. Alright? And I'm sure that a lot of people have different approaches to making their macaroni. And what we like to do here is we take what do? We take a little bit of this, or actually all of it, I should say. It comes in the package, I should also mention that. And it's still in the standard pot. Keep looking at that. As I go over here and I just get out some standard milk. Okay? Now, some of you are gonna say, what the hell is he doing? And yes, I did. I turned the stove back on. And now I'm adding the milk after I have sifted the water out. I've just found that you have to do less dishes, you don't have to use a strainer. And adding the cold milk, that's why I turned the heater on, obviously. Because as we know, fire makes things hot. In some cases, fire can even kill. So in some instances, I wouldn't recommend that people play with fire at home, especially if you're under a certain age or over a certain age. So what I'm doing down here, we could probably edit this out later, but what I'm doing, I'm just stirring. As you notice here, I'm just stirring the cheese, the powdered cheese, into the noodles here. And as you can see, it's actually, you can even notice around in the areas around here, you can actually see it's bubbling. What those bubbles mean is that it's actually heating up. It's getting pretty hot. So again, I want to stress, things that get quite hot do in fact burn and can occasionally kill. So I cannot stress enough how dangerous this is. Actually, in fact, Charles, back there, our handyman, he has in fact broken his arm, proving that we're not invincible. So I would just like for everyone to take heed of that. Now, speaking of heat, which rhymes kind of with heed, I would actually say that this is about completed. I don't know, can you check that out a little bit? Now what we do, what we like to do is, I'm gonna go ahead and put this milk back in the fridge. Pops right back in there, we got plenty of room. We're gonna head over here, grab ourselves one of the high-end dishes here. Now this isn't any standard dish, this is actually the construction of the dish here. It's a perfect bowl shape. I don't know if you noticed that. It's gonna go inside. Let me actually, what I wanna do is I wanna show you one of the competitors' brand bowls. If you'll just bear with me for one moment. Now here we have, this is another bowl. This bowl is from England. Now, I don't know about you, but where I come from, this is considered a plate because, I don't know if you noticed, but it doesn't really have the depth. And for me, a bowl has to have depth. Or, what are you gonna eat out of this? I mean, yeah, you could stack it up, you know, but why not just use a plate when it comes to that? So, we like to stay with the overall standard bowl here, which in many ways it's much more superior. So, keep that in mind next time you're eating anything that requires a bowl. Use a bowl. Okay, so now, say everything's done here. We've got bowl is set up, We've got this all cooked. What do we do next? Do you just eat it out of this? A lot of people do. A lot of people do. They also they put wild turkey in their Cheerios. Those are the same people that would eat out of this. But we're not like that, are we? Right? We're not like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually add what we just cooked to the bowl. And you'll find it's a little bit more enjoyable. I mean, granted, it's both would work fine, but it just, you get a better feeling when you eat it out from an actual bowl. There we go. So you just want to make sure you get all that out of there. Make sure it's all nicely piled up onto that bowl there. Now what I'm gonna do is, some people, they take this dish and they just put it in the sink. They go ahead, they eat their food. By the time you're done eating your food, you're tired. You know, you don't really want to get up and go and wash the dishes. So what I do is I let this sit here because it's pretty hot. It's gonna stay pretty hot. So we go over here, turn on some extra lights here. We've got the high-end dish system here. What we like to do is we turn on a bit of water here. Turn on a little bit of cold water because that gets pretty hot. Now some people might say, hey, you know, that's pretty wasteful. You're using a lot of water. So what I do is I just turn the water off, you know? Make sure you're not using all that water because we are in an energy crisis right now, water crisis, gasoline crisis, I mean just everything, money crisis. Everybody's just dying to go kill each other. So what we need to do here is just conserve water, you know? Make sure that you just use one little, the same size, the container can be used to clean the container. Rinsing it is when you want to use several container sizes. So what I'm doing here, you'll notice I'm just going around over and over real easy, just kind of clean the sides. The bottom portion is pretty easy. Also, you just do some circular motions in there. Pretty easy. Got a little soap in there too. There we go. Again, done with the sponge there. Like to rinse that out. Charles does not like to have a wet sponge hanging around the sink. So just make sure that's wrung out, it's kind of dry. Pop the pot underneath the water. Let it get all that soap off there. Okay? And there we are. Look at that. It's clean, right? Bam, we've got it on this handy dandy little drying rack for our dishes. Walk over here, as you'll notice my hands are actually wet. So I walk over here, what do we have? A towel. This is something that is very necessary to have in a kitchen. I found this out the hard way. I was eating my food, I would eat bread, and I had wet hands, and my bread was then turning soggy. And I don't know about you, but when I eat soggy bread, it's just not as enjoyable, you know? The meat, the cheese, everything's just falling all over the place. It's not that great. So if you invest in a towel, some people even go with a paper towel. This is also something you could use. Both are acceptable. Some people prefer the towel here because you could wash it. You're not, you know, destroying the environment. You're not cutting down trees to make paper towels. So finally, I digress. We came here to eat macaroni. Now, as I said before, this is probably not how everyone would do it, and this is America, so I understand other people's opinions, and you know, feel free to comment on the way I've eaten this, but it's good. You know, I'm not gonna eat it right now because it's hot. It's gonna probably burn me. But I love it. So we'll talk to you guys later. Okay? Take care.